Hi, thank you so much for taking your time to be here today. In this video, we're going to be discussing completing credits at Cavalier Pros. We have two types of credits here at Cavalier. We have our regular credit, which is also known as an authorization for return. And we also have an RMA, also known as a return merchandise authorization. Our most common type of credit here at Cavalier is our authorization for return. These credits are completed by the drivers while they're at the location making the delivery. The driver gives the customer a handwritten credit slip, and the driver takes the product back with them to the warehouse. They are also occasionally entered by the sales team, and that usually occurs when the customer notifies the sales team about an issue that they had and the product does not need to be returned to the warehouse. Next, we have a return merchandise authorization, also known as an RMA. These are used when the driver is no longer at the location. Typically what happens is the customer will notify the sales team after a delivery has been made of an issue that they have. They're processed through the tablet. The RMA will appear as a stop on the customer's next delivery date. The driver must call the sales team and notify them of the pickup, and that's very important. And finally, the product is collected by the driver and returned to the warehouse. Let's take a look at our different credit reason codes that we utilize. Number one is going to be quality. That's when the item doesn't look good. It could be rotten, it could be expired. That would be a quality issue. Number two would be a mispick. I get a lot of questions about what is a mispick. That's when we send the customer an incorrect item. It's usually something similar to what they had ordered. So maybe they ordered lemon juice, we sent them lime juice. Maybe they ordered a Granny Smith apple, we sent them a red delicious apple. That would be a mispick. Sometimes it's just something that's completely different from what they had ordered. But if there's anything in place of what is on that invoice and what is supposed to be there, that would be a mispick. Next, we have a shortage. Shortage could be due to a couple different reasons. It could be where the warehouse just forgot to put the item onto the truck. It could be where an invoice should have been changed and it was not changed. But anytime the item is not there, that's supposed to be there, and if it is on the invoice, that would be a shortage. 4, we have sales error. That is where maybe we enter the customer for an incorrect item, or maybe we enter the order under an incorrect location. That would be a sales error. Number 5 is a customer error. That could be due to a customer that maybe ordered something that they didn't mean to order, or maybe they changed their mind, they no longer need that item. That would be a number 5 customer error. 6 is a warehouse entry error. That would be anybody in the warehouse side that put something incorrect on an invoice, as well as our voicemail checker. That would also fall under a warehouse entry error. Number 7, we have a pricing error / adjustment. That is going to be when we incorrectly charge somebody for an item where the price is not correct, and we just want to go ahead and in there and adjust that price. That would be a number 7. 8 is miscellaneous, which is going to be any item that does not fall into any of the categories listed here. Number 11 is a driver error. That can happen when an item maybe is left on a truck or left at a different location. That would be a driver error. Number 14 is damaged. We see that a lot with milk and watermelons, unfortunately, where the item gets broken during transportation, or maybe it just wasn't loaded onto the truck correctly, but if it's damaged when the customer receives it, that would be number 14. Number 15 is a substitution rejection. Maybe they ordered regular kale, we sent them Tuscan kale and they can't use Tuscan kale. That would be number 15. Number 16 is sizing. Maybe the silver dollar mushrooms are not the correct size, so that would be a sizing issue where there's not really a quality issue with the item, it's just not the correct size. And finally, we have number 17, customer specification not met. And that's typically when somebody gets something that we could sell to a different customer, but it's just not up to their standards, or it's not exactly what they were looking for. That would be a number 17, customer specification not met. Next, we will take a look at how to complete a credit slip. The most important thing when completing your credit is to call the sales team. You also want to complete the top section of the credit thoroughly and complete, make sure it's all complete. You can ask the sales team for any information if you need it, maybe the customer number, maybe an invoice number, maybe a stop number, anything like that you can't find on the tablet. Feel free to ask the sales team, we can provide that to you. Complete the middle section. Please be very thorough. That's where we enter in the actual item that the credit is being applied to. It's important that we fill that out correctly so we know what the correct item is, and we also know what the correct quantity is for that credit. Have the customer sign that credit slip. Driver should sign the credit slip as well. The top white copy goes to the customer, and the yellow copy gets turned in with your paperwork when you get back to the warehouse. And here's an example of a credit slip. As you can see at the top, we have the date. Next, we have the invoice number, customer number, the route number and stop, as well as the name of the customer. In this example, 2 pounds of bananas are being returned for being poor quality. The first thing we're going to do is put a 2 underneath quantity, underneath the PC section for pieces to represent the 2 pounds. Then we have the item code. If you're unsure what the item code is, you can ask the sales team, we can provide that to you. After that, we have the item description. Please be thorough with the item description to make sure we're crediting off the correct item. And then after that, we have the return code. In this example, it's going to be number 1 for quality, so we're going to list the number 1 down. Next, we have the return adjustment section of the credit slip. This is going to indicate if it's a complete return, which would be an R, where the customer is going to get a credit back for the entire cost of that item. And A is a price adjustment, and we're going to cover that in the next example. In the next example on the credit slip, we have a box of 5x6 tomatoes, a full case, but it's not looking too good. There's some bad tomatoes inside that box, but the customer said they could still keep that box. They could still use the tomatoes that are in there, but they would like to have a price break or a price adjustment on that case of 5x6 tomatoes. We're going to put a 1 down underneath CS for quantity to represent the full case where the price is being adjusted. After that, we have the item code, item description, as well as the return code. And then we also have an A listed to represent that it's an adjustment, not a return. The customer is going to go ahead and keep this box of 5x6 tomatoes, but that just shows that it's a price adjustment. Please note that the section C/P, along with assignment number, both of those sections do not need to be filled out in the credit slip. Those are the only sections that do not need to be filled out. Once the credit is completed, the sales team will provide you with a credit number. It's very important that that's written onto the actual credit slip for reference purposes. Finally, the customer is going to sign the credit slip. The driver is also going to sign the credit slip. The driver is going to give the customer the white top copy from the credit, and then the yellow copy is brought back to the warehouse and turned in with any other paperwork that you may have. Completing an RMA. These are completed on your tablet. Unlike the previous example where it was handwritten, these are done on your tablet. They appear similar to making a delivery, how a stop would look on the tablet. You must call the sales office when the items are picked up, and that's very important. If you do not call the sales office, the customer will not receive credit on that item, and that could definitely snowball into a bigger issue down the road. So we definitely want to make sure that we're calling these in to let the sales team know as soon as you pick up these items. And finally, once you pick them up, they should be put into the return area. Once you return to the warehouse, we have a dedicated return area in the back. If you're unsure where that is, please ask Antonio, and please also let Antonio know if he's here of any items that are being returned and why. We have a return log where we record all the issues on that, all the returns on that. So it's important to let him know what's coming back to us. Let's take a look at what an RMA looks like on your tablet. You're going to select the stop that you're at, just like you're making a delivery, and you click Arrive to begin. After that, you click Dock. In this example here, the top item is an RMA, the bottom item is an invoice or a regular sales order or delivery that you're going to be making. As you can see, the RMA is listed in red to make it stand out from the stops, and you're just going to go ahead and select that RMA just like you were selecting the stop. The details of the RMA will appear along with any special instructions for that RMA pickup. Once you reviewed that screen, please click the details icon located towards the bottom of the screen on the tablet. The RMA quantity page looks very similar to a regular sales order delivery. You select the items that are being returned. Once you select all the items that are being returned, you want to hit the finish icon, just located in the bottom right hand corner of the tablet. Just like a regular sales order, a review screen appears that the transaction can be agreed to between the driver and the customer. The difference though is that there's no signature required because the driver is responsible for the accuracy of the return. Once that's reviewed with the customer, they should click the Agree button located in the bottom right hand corner of the tablet. The RMA has been successfully received. As you can see on the screen here, the icon has turned to black to show you that the RMA has been completed. And then you can move on and just complete the sales orders how you normally would down below it. And then when both the RMA and all the sales orders are received, the driver can select the part to leave the stop, and the stop is marked as complete. Why the RMAs need to be called into the sales office. It allows the sales team to complete the credit. Even though the RMA is completed on the tablet between the driver and the customer will not receive that credit until the sales team completes it on the back end. It's also recorded with our accounting team, and that's very important as well to make sure what we're billing the customer is accurate. It allows management to know the items have been collected. It avoids any situations down the road where they may say that they returned an item a week ago. We asked the driver, he said he never picked it up. So it avoids any he said, she said situations down the road. And it also notifies the sales team if something is not there or accurate. Sometimes the customer will use the item by the time we go back to pick it up, and that RMA needs to be voided out. So it lets our sales team know so we can go ahead and take the appropriate actions. What if the sales team isn't here and the credit needs to be called in and an RMA is being picked up? After hours, RMA pickups and credits should still be called into the office and left on our voicemail. This allows us to address any customer concerns more efficiently and also provide solutions to our customers. Let's take a look at what we've covered today. Whenever a driver is completing a credit or picking up an RMA, it must be called into the sales office. Credit forms need to be fully completed. If you need help finding any of the information needed to complete the credit form, if you cannot find it on your tablet, please just ask the sales team when you call in the credit and they'll be happy to provide that to you. And any after office hour pickups or credits need to be left on the voicemail. Thank you for taking the time to complete this training today. Please do not forget to enter your name below the video and also answer the questions to receive credit for the training. And if you have any questions at all in regards to credit processes, RMAs, or anything else, please let the manager know and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you so much and be safe.